Good day, YouTube. Yes, we are running. Update. Today's Thursday, the 16th of June. Had my peritonesis yesterday, and the infusion center. Peritonesis went all right. Got towards the end, and they were moving the catheter around in there a little bit, trying to suck all the ascites out, and they hit something a couple of times they shouldn't have, and it made me get a little vocal, and so we called her good. Pulled 5 liters out, so no complaints there really, and we headed on over to the infusion center. And the check-in lady, she already knew I was getting the phlebotomy and the infusion. And so they take me back. And they set me up for the phlebotomy. And so as normal, I'm just sitting there watching, waiting. And they just bring out the stuff for the phlebotomy. And they've changed that order, I talked about it here a while back, to hydrate me with normal saline solution IV because my blood clotted up that one time. And so they didn't do that. I didn't say anything, and so I just let them go ahead and tap me, and blood was flowing like crazy, so no problem. But in the meantime, I watched her set up the little R2-D2 machine. It weighs, I think it weighs out how much blood goes in the bag. That's what it does. And so she hung the bag on a spare hook on a knob that's not connected to the scale. It was no biggie because I already know how to compensate for that. And so once the blood started flowing, and it was flowing really good, and I was like, well, you better put that on the scale, so to weigh it out. You know when to stop, and it converts the weight to milliliters. That's what it does. And so she's like, oh, yada, yada. And so it's no biggie. She's a decent nurse. She's done me a few times. And so I just told her how to correct it and the numbers to add. And yada, yada, and everything would be fine. And so she did. And then everything's running good. She was most thankful, And the other nurse came in, the one I argue the most with. She came in, was looking around to make sure, everything is going good. This is from back I've talked about before, the trainee and the trainer nurse. It's the same couple. And so the trainer nurse comes in, and she looks around, and I just tell her, yeah, all's good. It's like blood's really flowing this time, and you didn't hydrate me. And she just kind of gave me a funny look. And she said, hydrate you? I was like, yeah, it says on the order you're supposed to hydrate me first. And she's like, oh. So she went and looked at the order. This is the one that won't look at the order until afterwards, It's like, really? But anyways, so she's like, yada, yada. I'm like, well, everything's fine. I'm like, it's only going to take 10 minutes probably. I mean, look at the blood. It's pouring out of me. And just leave it alone. And she's like, well, if you have, if it slows down or this or that, we'll stop and then we'll hydrate you. I'm like, everything's fine. Go about your business. And so they I guess they kind of depend on me. I don't know. They shouldn't. But I'm watching the little mini R2-D2. And I'm watching the numbers, and I know where they should have been cut off at. And what we want to get is 450 milliliters of blood is what they want. And so normally when you zero the bag out, you got the weight of the bag, yada, yada, yada. And so we needed to take that up to 500 is where we should have stopped at. And so the nurse being trained, she looks at it. I'm like, it's flowing really fast. We're real close, And she walks off. I'm like, huh. And so I just watch it. It gets up to 600. And I reach down there and clamp it off, and I wait a couple of minutes, and then they come in, get on the computer, they're putting the information in for the albumin infusion. And I finally say something. I was like, hey, I cut the blood flow off at 600, It's like, we'd probably be up to 1,000 by now. And they're like, oh, yeah. And most thankful again, I was like, it's no biggie. It's like, just write down in the report so the doctor knows that you took off 550 technically instead of 450. And don't lie, write it down so he knows. And so they do that and get me hooked up for the infusion. That goes fine. They had the right non-regurgitating V port and everything. And so when I went in, the plan was, I told you about it here last week or whatever, trying to call my gastro to get the referral going up at Oregon Health Science University. And so as soon as I walked in, the wife calls. And so I'm just thinking all she's going to be able to do is leave a message. And that's what I'm expecting. So anyways, I get done. Doesn't take very long, hour or so in the infusion center. Hour and a half maybe. And we get out and jump in the truck and we start heading home. We're done for the day. And I don't say anything because I'm afraid of the answer. But after we hit 101 and start heading north to come home, I asked her, I was like, well, did you get the phone call in? She's like, yeah, and MA picked the phone right up. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, well, how'd that go? She's like, well, I just told him, that we've been in contact with the transplant team, and they eagerly await my referral. Like yesterday they wanted it, anytime you can send it, they're ready. And they were nice and pleasant, it shouldn't be a surprise. Like I've said before, all of their patients will end up there or die trying to get there. One of the two things is going to happen. And so I'm like, all right. And she's like, the MA is going to run it by the doctor and yada yada, and they get a hold of us. And before we got home, lo and behold, my phone rings, and I pick it up. I see it's Medford, and it's the MA from my gastrologist. And they're like, hey, we pushed the order through. I'm like, you did? I'm like, great, thank you very much. We already kind of know the process, from here. Like I said, we've already been in contact. And so we get home and chilling, hanging out, binge watching a little bit more Shameless. Still ain't done with that. But and the phone rings and it's Portland. But I'm on the phone at the same time with my brother. And yada yada. So my wife picks up the phone, and lo and behold, it's Oregon Health Science University, and they already called back. And so this is all taking like only 4 hours. And I'm like, damn, man, this it's going good today. Really no complaints. And so the wife takes the call. They don't really necessarily need to talk to me. It was the intake officer, and talked to her, and she's like, we were waiting, I got a sticky note on my monitor. We were waiting for the referral, and they kicked her over to another department, handles like the insurance and stuff like that. And so she was on the phone for about half hour with them, and I was on the phone with my brother. And my brother took the test for hemochromatosis, and my mom's taking the test, and my daughter's taking the test so far. Hang on, I gotta pause this for a minute. So those three have taken the test. Are we running? Okay. And my daughter tested negative, even as a gene carrier. My mom came back, she's a carrier. So that's as far back as we can go is to my mom. We won't know, I don't think we'll ever know for sure where my dad was with this. We do know once he decided actually to get the treatment he needed for his leukemia, they pretty much told him up front, well, you've waited too long and probably can't do anything for you. But at one point in time, his cancer team, he was up at Seattle, and they came in and they were like, y'all do your liver and they're going to take some blood. But they weren't too concerned about it. And so I don't think he got a gene test done. They basically gave him no chance before he went there. But so we don't know where he's at. So we do know my mom's a carrier. So we do know I got mine. I'm not way into how all this gene stuff works yet. I haven't really wasted any time researching it too much because I already got it and I just need to be treated. So my brother's going over some of his tests he's gotten back. And his ferritin level was really high. And that's a key sign. He doesn't know yet if he has the hemochromatosis. He should, I believe, in just a couple of days maybe. But he took the gene testing to the max. He's getting tested for any gene mutation that they can test you for, leukemia, whatever, breast cancer, And so, waiting to find out what's going on with him. He was high, but not high like I was. But there's something going on to drive his ferritin level up to where it's at. And that's about all I can really say. I haven't talked to them about talking about them, in these recordings, but so hopefully my little brother don't have it, but we should know in time. And so part of the phone call with the wife up there at the transplant team, they were like, kind of give us the rundown how the system works. So they're gathering all my records, and it's kind of weird. They already had everything from Sutter Coast Hospital on me, and so I was like, oh, that's interesting. But anyways, they'd gotten that already. Maybe through my gastro, I really don't know. And so they got a team of nurses. It's the transplant nurse team. There's about, I don't know, probably, it was at least 20 people on the transplant team. Nurses and doctors, maybe 25. But anyways, the nurses get it first. These are top-notch nurses. And they'll look over everything, and they'll see where I'm at, and then they'll make the decision to kick it on up to let the doctors look at it or not. So that's probably kind of what's going to happen. And so the doctor's going to get it. The team of doctors are going to get everything on me, all my medical crap. And they'll go over it, and they'll make a decision. Am I ready to go up there yet? Am I not ready to go up there yet? Can I get use out of part of their team now? Like their gastrologists, and maybe their pharmacist. Get this, this pharmacist is not like what we're used to. The pharmacist they're doctors anyways. But it's not like going to your local pharmacy, you know, the guy behind the counter. But so this pharmacist knows everything, and he'll go over my meds, and he'll go by what the doctors tell him, and he'll look and make adjustments, recommendations for adjustments, I would imagine, and start treating me. See where I'm at. I think I told you my end of life score is low, which is good. And I might not be ready to go up there to utilize their services quite yet, which is something we already know. And they could kick it all the way back down to my gastro, but I really don't see that happening. So if I can get into at least the 3-day orientation up there, we'd have to drive up there and stay. And if I can make it into that, I'm in. I'm in like Flynn. And I'll at least start being treated by their gastro. And so I won't be coming from the outside. And then they'll just have to monitor me. Adjust, you know, I still think medications are off and this and that. They could go with the TIPS option, the shunt, the splint, whatever you want to call it, stent. TIPS is what they call it, but and so I could have that put in there to stop the ascites, which will be a big, huge help. And so it's all positive. And we should have an answer from Oregon Health Science University in 7 to 10 days. She said a week to 2 weeks. And she said they're working on it already. We were waiting for you. And so turned out to be a good day for me anyways. You know, my brother's out there in limbo. He doesn't know why, you know, his numbers are kind of jacked, and we spent some time on the phone going over my blood work and his blood work that he does have, and some of his, you know, wasn't that great, but just barely not that great, you know. But something's driven his ferritin level up. But he's like, I guess twice over the normal limit is where he's at. My highest level that they have recorded for ferritin is 1,988, and that's pretty high. And I've said it before, the cutoff in the normal range for high is 388. And Monday, mine was down to 375. Just barely tipping into the normal range. But they want to get me all the way down to 30 for the condition I'm in. That's where they like to see people with hemochromatosis at 30. But we anxiously await phone call. I think treatment will go a lot better no matter what. You know, if I'm not ready, you know, that's good for me. You know, doesn't mean I can't get on the transplant list with the low score. It doesn't mean I will either. And so there's lots of options and possibilities. The longer they can keep me stable, more stable than I am now, to where, you know, I can actually really function. And, you know, that's just going to prolong my life. And so that could go on for a couple of years. As long as they, you know, they can get the ascites stopped. They can get it stopped. There, you know, there is a way. And I'm all eager for that. This requires one overnight stay at the hospital. They don't put you under. They go down in your jugular vein run the catheter all the way down to your liver, and they bypass the portal vein to some other vein or whatever to keep that portal pressure off, and it'll stop the ascites from being pushed out into my peritoneum cavity. And it's just recirculated all the way through to where it'll come out in my poo and my pee like normal people. And that'll be a huge difference, I think. The hemochromatosis, it's never going to go away. I was hurting pretty good this morning. Thighs hurt like heck. Had to take a pain pill. Belly's a little sore this morning. I think they pushed on the bowel, and it's what happened. But it's still sore in there. Plus I ate like a pig when I got home, and I drink a lot. I've said this before. It makes me really, really thirsty. So I probably drank a good gallon of Gatorade after I got home yesterday. I think we got home 2:30, 3 o'clock, somewhere around there. No, we got home right before 2, because I had to pee in a cup and run that up to the lab because they were closing at 2 every day because their refrigerator broke. And so their last pickup is like at 2, so they can't store anything overnight. So I did make it up there just right before 2 o'clock. Dropped off some pee for him to play with. And I did do all my blood work yesterday. All of it. Anything they had. I just told them, just get it done. I'm not going to sit here and keep fighting between this lab, that lab, my PC. It's like, just don't do the gene test. Everything else. Yeah, amazing, my lab up here, where they did do the gene test, they had done cleared that off, But we went up there in the morning before I went down for the peritonesis. Went up to the lab at 8 o'clock. And they pulled 6 vials of blood, maybe pee in a bottle. And then we went on down to the hospital to get the rest of the crap done. But it was a busy day. Still got this coming week. Tuesday we had to schedule for the peritonesis. Wednesday I had to drive over into Medford to see my GI, and see what she's got to say. I have no clue what the appointment's about. And so it's going to be a busy week. And then I think I got something else on Friday. I'd have to look at my calendar here, but that was my yesterday, Gives me lots to think about today. I hate waiting on phone calls, but we're progressing up the medical ladder and going to, the man with the plan, the key holder to my life, And so that's huge. And they seem very nice. Like I said, they eagerly were waiting. They were glad. And we told them how fast it all got pushed through. And they're like, really? They're like, yeah. It took 4 hours from our first phone call until you called us. There's no complaining whatsoever about that. That's from my gastro to the transplant team. But that's where we're at. My son, he says he's getting tested sometime here at the end of this month. See where he's at. I think my mom's going to get get her ferritin tested. That's something that they have to specify. It doesn't come in a normal blood test. If you just go in for like a yearly, that's not tested. Ferritin is not tested, and neither is your iron. You know, and those two things, they're just not normally tested. It doesn't really matter. She doesn't have any side effects. Like I said, people can live all their lives with it. So obviously she's just turned 80, excuse me. She just turned 85 in May. You know, so she's had a good, long, healthy life. And this won't bother her at all. She won't have to do anything. And so that's a good thing as well. But, you know, one thing I was talking to my little brother about too, he's just, I think 3 years younger than me. But, you know, once they get the ferritin level down to where they want it, you can maintain that just by donating your blood at the Red Cross. Instead of paying for a doctor visit, you know, to go to the infusion center. That's where they do it, you know. If you need it for medical reasons, you have to go to the infusion center. If you just want to help out fellow mankind and donate a pint of blood, well, you just go to any Red Cross drive and do it. But I'll probably do the same if mine gets down, you know, to where he wants it to be maintained at 30. And I don't know if the Red Cross will let you donate enough to keep it down there, you know, because supposedly right now I'm at one a week. I haven't made it once a week, but that's what the order says. And Red Cross won't let you do once a week. I think it's once every 3 months, 4 months, somewhere around there. And so that's where we're at. Happy campers. And wash and repeat, you know, next week. Tuesday, Wednesday gonna be hell. Appointment's not until 2:15 in the afternoon over there. Really bad timing. And you know, we figure we give ourselves a total of 7 hours drive time there and back. That's, you know, you stop to eat, stop to get gas, and traffic, you know, it's summertime, so these are popular gateways to the beach from inland is the roads I have to take. And so you got your RVs, you know, and yada yada yada. So traffic doesn't move all that fast. It's gonna make a long day, you know. We can pull out of Medford after I get my Abby's pizza, you know, at 3:30. You know, I probably won't get home till, you know, close to 7 p.m. But won't need a hotel. But it's just long day, a lot of driving, and we'll do that in one day. Just crap hours to do it, but we'll get her to see what she's got to talk about. I'll update you. I'll probably try to do a couple updates next week. Definitely update you after the appointment inland, and have something new to talk about instead of the COVID test. Probably already getting close to 30 minutes, and we are. So don't really have any parting words. A lot of stress and relief has dissipated, you know, from myself and my wife. and gives us a ton of new stuff to talk about. You know, a bunch of new stuff to research. They already set me up in their patient portal up at the Oregon Health Science University. They did that while Doris was on the phone with them. And we got logged in there last night and got that set up. Which is even, you know, more good news. You know, you already given me that, so, you know, gives you a little more hope instead of just being down all the time and looking up stuff that's bad, you know. And got a really nice link to their website up there. Lots of good information for each kind of transplants they do. They do heart transplants, they do lung transplants, they do liver, then they do a liver spleen combo, I think, as well. So you just pick out, you know, which one you need. A little 25-minute video to watch and tons of information to read, what to expect, the process of it all. It's all spelled out there for you. So you're not going up there blind, not unless you just refuse to read the literature that they're already giving you beforehand, which will be most helpful for us. You know, we got time, hopefully, to read through it all before I get up there. But like I said, the next step up there will be the 3-day. It's 1 to 3 day orientation type thing. I'm not sure what differentiates between only needing 1 day and needing 3 days, but probably the severity of your liver condition. But we'll be ahead of the game. We'll go ahead and get that stuff read up on, discuss it, and take notes. One part of that, you can ask questions and like a question and an answer part of it. And it's about all I got, you know. I can't worry about too much more than just me. Sounds selfish, but you always got to fight for number one first, you know. And that's something I've said and talked about a lot, you know. And I told my wife, you know, before we moved together and decided to play house, you know, because we've both been married twice. We're not married, I've said that, but you get the, especially see it on the female side when you come together and there's kids involved. We both have 2 kids. But if one parent puts their kids as number one in my life, forget it. You ain't got a chance. And you'll see that a lot. My kids are number one, you know. And if that's the case, you can forget it. I have a really good female friend here. And she's a really good friend. I've worked with her a lot on county issues. Yeah, you know, the fires we've had and stuff like that. But that subject got brought up, you know. She's like, well, you know, I think she was sick or something, and I was telling her, you got to take care of yourself. She's like, well, my kids are number one. I'm like, yeah, but what if you die? Who's going to take care of them now, you know? So you have to be number one, you know? And so you can take care of your kids. And if you really stop and think about that, you know, some probably just tell me to go F myself, give me the big old, you know. But you got to be number one in your life. And you have to look out for yourself first. Because you can't look out for anybody else if you can't look out for yourself. I mean, really think about that. And, my wife, girlfriend, domestic partner, whatever you want to call her, we talked about it, where are you at, my kids ain't number one in my life, I tell you that, and I'm not going to bow down, and baby them through this generation, whatever it is now, Z or X or whatever, she's a little bit that way, but not really, but you can see the tendency. But like I said, we talked about it before we made any decisions. She ended up selling her house in California, and so it wasn't a decision we made lightly, just to move in together. But she still got kids. Our kids are grown. Her youngest is 40. Time for that kid to take care of himself, same as mine. Take care of yourself. You want a new car? Well, then go get a new job. And she's working on that. It hasn't been a problem. If it was, we wouldn't be together. But that's something to think about. You got to be number one in your life. That's where I'm at more than ever right now. Nobody else matters. As harsh as it can sound, Nobody else matters as much as I matter to myself. And that's just where I'm at, in life with my conditions. And everybody else, they get this from me. I can't help you, I'm trying to help myself. I'm not ready to die, believe it or not. Another 20 years, I'd be a happy camper, 20 years, I'll probably be saying, damn, just give me 10 more, get me up to 90, I'll be 60 here in February, so yeah, get me up to 80. And there's only one way that's going to happen, though. That's me taking care of myself as number one, But think about that. I'll leave you there. Think about who's number one in your life. Is it your kids? Is it your parents, your mom? Who's number one in your life? And if you're not, I would do some serious pondering and thinking. I'm not psychologist or whatever, but I would seriously do some thinking. And this is something I've been saying since I was 13, 14 years of age. I knew how it worked, man. And if I couldn't take care of myself, things were going to go, not go good. But that's where I'll leave you. We'll hook up next week. Obviously, probably won't be until Thursday, because I'm backed up Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe get something short in Tuesday night. I don't know. It's a really late start at the hospital again. Start time is 11 a.m. And so most likely it won't be till Thursday. Can't see anything too exciting going on till then. And don't expect any phone calls by then. I don't know. Maybe I will have them, but I don't expect them. So anyways, ponder that number one. Let me know what you think down in the comments, Have you ever thought about it? Where are you at? Are you number 2? Are you number 3? Or are you number 1? Till then, enjoy the weather. We haven't got any rain, so not too bad. Just kind of cloudy and muggy and yada yada. And plan on next Thursday update. Till then, peace out, be healthy, be safe.